Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mysteries of the Past podcast. I'm Jonathan Ray, and I'm here with
Soul Provost.
and
Aiden Harris.
and today we're going to be talking about Elisa Lam. Now, for those of you who don't know, Elisa Lam is was a Canadian tourist who went to the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and basically the Cecil Hotel is known for being a pretty spooky place, and because basically what happens there is like a bunch of serial killers that have like killed their victims there, including like Richard Ramirez and like one other guy from like the early 1900s or something like that, and a bunch of people have like jumped off the building there, and it's just like it's an overall spooky place. And so what happened was on January 26th, 2013, Elisa Lam. What happened was she visited the Cecil Hotel, and then what happened was uh, she was like she first went to like this little like hostel place, and she had like a roommate there, but she was later moved to a private room because the roommate is like she's talking to herself and just seems like weird. So then after that, she was last seen on like surveillance footage on like on a camera, and she was like in an elevator, and she was talking to someone supposedly outside the elevator, and so no one knows whether it's like some sort of medical history or if she was like maybe even like possessed, or or whatever. Anyways, so then what happened after that is she was later found in one of the little water tanks up there because the customers started saying that the water was tasting weird, and sometimes the water would turn black, and the overall water pressure wasn't right. And so no one knows whether it was a suicide or a murder or maybe it was a ghost, and but yeah, so there's a lot of theories around it, and yeah, so like one of them is that that she was actually talking to the ghost of Richard Ramirez in the elevator, and or and so for people who don't know, Richard Ramirez killed like 23 people if I haven't said it already, and no one knows exactly why she's talking to the ghost of Richard Ramirez, or why she's talking to herself. No one knows if it's because she did have bipolar disorder, but then again, she had like multiple meds for it, and also in a toxicology report, they didn't find any like drug in her system, so maybe it was her bipolarity. Now, do any of y'all want to add anything to that, or ask any questions or whatnot?
Well, in the toxicology report, so she was known to be bipolar, and she was taking her meds, but she did not take her mood stabilizers that day. That was the
Mm,
only thing missing in her system. So it could have been that she was suffering from paranoia. She could have been um, imagining somebody was there. And during the video, that video went uh, viral pretty fast on the internet because
yeah.
people thought she was acting very strangely. Basically, if you haven't seen the video, it's just she gets in the elevator and the doors don't close. And after like a few minutes, she starts to walk in and out of the elevator trying to get it to close. She starts acting a little weird. Then she starts what looks like she's talking to somebody outside the elevator, but nobody's seen there. Um, there were no other security cameras on that floor other than the elevator. So we really don't know if there was somebody there or not, or it could have just been
Yeah.
in her head. But that was the last time anybody saw her. She got off the elevator. She just vanished. The next time people saw her was when about what was it like 28 days later
Around
they
that time, that would make
yeah
sense for the body to like decompose in the water.
yeah people started complaining about the water having an odd smell and taste, and some reported that it was like a gross brown looking
Yeah.
color.
And then
And
there's like that one couple who said it's like they they said the water was like becoming black and then going back to regular water, but they said it was just because they thought that's what water was like in downtown Los Angeles.
Wow.
But yeah, one of my questions is I mean it's not really a major question, but why didn't that elevator door close? Like in the footage, she's standing there, and then like she waits a little bit, and then she hops out, and then she goes back in and like waits a little bit. It's like I don't know why the elevator didn't close. You know?
Yeah, it didn't close about like till like a few minutes later after she walked
Yeah.
away,
Maybe the
and then
elevator killed her.
it opened and closed on each floor. Like she went in, she frantically pushed all the buttons, and then
Yeah.
left.
Where can we find that video that you were talking about?
It should be on YouTube.
Okay. Awesome.
Almost anywhere. There's a lot of, if you just look up Lisa Lam or the Cecil Hotel, you can find the footage very easily.
Awesome. Just so that anybody who's listening, they can, if they haven't heard of the story, they now know where they can find that video.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, one of the theories, you know, again, as how she was murdered, or how not murdered, but how she disappeared, and like how she got in the water tank is, you know, people think she was murdered, right? But the thing is, like, they never found any actual trauma, no knife wounds, no like bodily harm. All they knew is that she was just like in the tank without her clothes on. It's like, and some people think it was like a suicide, you know? It's like, but that doesn't make much sense because like, number one, she'd have to first get up to the roof, which was like secured by a lock, and the lock was never broken. And what happened? She would have had to like gone up there somehow, and then she would have had to gone into the tank, and then get in, but also take her clothes off, throw the clothes in, go in, and then make sure to lock the tank back. You know, it's like, man, maybe she like teleported there or something, or like
There was also no way to get inside the tank.
yeah,
It's a water tank.
yeah,
Like a person can't just climb into it.
Right.
So
That was one of the things that I was just shocked and stunned on. I was like, how did she even get in there in the first place? Yeah, that left me scratching my head and just something I could not explain.
yeah, and now I don't know much about water tank engineering, but I'd assume however they got in there, they would have had to know a bit about like number one how to get the body up there, and number two how to like, you know, actually put her in there, because like, you know, I guess it's a pretty good spot, but wouldn't you want to hide it like somewhere else, you know, like, you know, a body so it doesn't, you know, just die in there.
Right.
Anyways,
I would think that you would have to be one of the world's dumbest criminals
yeah,
to put a body in a water tank and think that it's not going to be found.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
and then again, it's like there's no like trauma signs on her. It's like, so no one like strangled her or like stabbed her or anything. It's like it just decayed naturally in the water tank.
Yeah, that was something else that I had seen. Was that they were like everybody's just dumbfounded because there's no markings, there's no signs of struggle, there's absolutely nothing, and they called it an accident.
Yeah,
But you know, like you said, how do you accidentally lock yourself into a water tank from the inside? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
because like the drinking water's found in the sink, you know.
yeah, that's crazy.
And you know, some people actually like for real think that the it was like haunted, you know, and like she was possessed, and then a demon made her somehow go into the water tank and kill herself. It's like, now, I mean, I'm not denying any theories here, you know, but it's like there's no like evidence of that, but then again, there's no evidence of like anything else, you know. And actually, I did hear that one of the ways she could have gotten up there is through like a fire escape. But the thing is, she'd have to like go through like a window due to like where the fire escape is located on the building.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very odd. Very, very odd.
so most people either go like one of two directions, thinking, you know, it's possession or all this stuff relating to the hotel. A lot of these things did happen to the hotel. You should probably look into that if you want to. But most people think that it was just her bipolar disorder. She could have been off some of her meds and she thought somebody was chasing her, thought she was in danger, so she tried to hide somewhere.
But yeah, isn't like bipolar disorder like sometimes you're normal and like happy or whatever, and then just like you're mad or sad or something like that? Or it's like what really what was really like going on with her, you know?
Well, it could be a lot of things, but because she took all her meds except for like the mood stabilizer, she could have been a little, I don't know, out of like she could have just been a little paranoid.
Yeah, do you know all of her like medication that she was taking? You said she took like 4 things, I think.
No, I don't know all of what she took.
Oh, okay, but mainly just the mood stabilizers, you know.
Mhm.
Mm.
You know, the story that I had read, it said that she was consistently checking in with her parents, um, which is another thing that led me to think that she wasn't off of her meds.
Mhm.
Now, I know that the story goes, you know, the parents didn't hear from her, so they're saying maybe she wasn't taking them. That's why she didn't check in. But you know, the parents were already they were like afraid that to let her go out on her own. You know, especially where she was going on the West Coast there, and to me, it didn't make sense to say that she was off of her meds when one and I guess maybe she could have been being rebellious, right? And being
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm not gonna take my meds, you know. But with her knowing her condition, her parents knowing her condition, and the fact that they were keeping regular contact and communication, that just again just led me to believe that it wouldn't have been um, a case of her like forgetting to take her meds and or just not taking them.
Hmm.
You know, I really think that it has to be some sort of foul play.
Mhm.
That's what I took from the whole thing was,
Yeah.
you know, I know a lot of the sources and things that I looked at was saying it was accidental, but everything that I was reading, I was like, that just it's too
Mhm.
suspicious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and to answer your question about, you know, how does she act with being bipolar? It's she's gonna have different mood swings. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna like she could be up 1 minute and then down the very
Yeah.
next second. You know what I mean? So and that was another reason why I just didn't see that as being the case with everything she's doing and needing to keep her focus and all that stuff. I didn't think she would have not taken her
Yeah.
meds. So
And I think I heard someone that she was like, I don't know why she was at the Cecil Hotel, but I think I heard someone that she was like some type of like journalist or something. I don't know. Like I don't know why she was like, let's go to the Cecil Hotel, unless it was for some type of like job thing, you know? Because like I don't get how that hotel is still in like business, you know? It's like yeah, so there's been so many like murders there, and like so many like people committing suicide there that like I don't get why people would be like, oh yeah, let's go back there, or let's go there, other than just to um, see what the those killers saw or whatever, you know? It's like I don't
yeah,
really get how it's still in business, you know?
Usually at the time, all of that was happening kind of at once,
Yeah.
and they weren't telling people about it. It wasn't
mhm,
like in the public as, oh, this is where all these murderers stay and
right,
all these
right,
suicides happen. It was more of just, this is just a hotel.
yeah,
So they tried really hard until recently, in the past like 10 years, they didn't really talk about those things, and then they shut it down. They were gonna knock it down, but it was marked as a historical landmark,
Yeah.
so they couldn't knock it down, but they just closed it permanently.
You know, maybe if I ever open a hotel, I'm just gonna like kill all the guests and then like not say that I was a killer. Then maybe it'll become a historical landmark.
yeah. It's like one of the things I started considering because of like the weird things that were happening with the elevator and the history of the
Hmm.
hotel. I started thinking to myself, like, what if this really was some sort of paranormal
Hmm.
experience, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Aiden? You think it could have been some sort of paranormal activity?
Maybe. Like, um, since the elevator wasn't closing, could have been like paranormal activity. Mm,
Like, you guys ever heard of the hotel, the ghost hotel?
No,
Or
what is it?
no, sorry, not that. Haunted Mansion. That's what it's called.
Hmm.
The movie Haunted Mansion.
Hmm.
No.
Um, so there's the newest one that just came out was maybe I think it was like last year, the year
Hmm.
before that. Um, but it's an individual who um, he was like married, but his wife passed away. Um, and then he was like really big, this big scientist. I think he was a scientist or engineer or something like that.
Mhm.
Then she passes away. He kind of like gives up everything he's doing and working on. And he was actually working on this device that allowed you to see ghosts, right? Or the paranormal realm, I guess you can call
Yeah,
it.
did you see Casper?
Well, they saw quite a few. I think they seen, they probably saw Jack the Ripper,
Huh.
because there was a lot of ghosts coming out of their graves and things like that. But you know, the story with it being in the hotel, right? It really kind of it took me to that movie
Mhm.
and everything that I was like reading about it when I was thinking of it from a paranormal perspective. You know, I was just like, wow, like I could totally see this movie. Like for instance, when the elevator wasn't shutting,
Yeah.
there's a part in the movie where the guy he's trying to walk and like the floor like just looks like it vanishes and it's like they look like they're gonna fall through, but
Yeah.
you can literally just walk on it, right? So little things like that where it's like a what do you call it? I guess it would not a mirage. Um,
Illusion?
yeah, I guess an illusion.
Hallucination.
Yeah, yeah, like a hallucination. Like they're seeing she's seeing the door close. We're seeing on the camera the door's closing, but
Mhm.
then it opens back up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
are these like little tricks that are being played on our own eyes even still
Mhm.
to this day, or
Hmm.
is this some real paranormal stuff happening? Is there
Mhm.
some like maybe is there some was there like a quarter or something stuck in the doorway where the doors are going to shut and the sensors sense it so it opens back up,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it made me think of Haunted Mansion.
A lot
Yeah.
of people did call it paranormal because once she first got in the elevator, it looks like the door is gonna close, but it
Mm,
reopens
right,
and then it just stays open, like as if something was in front of it. It just doesn't
right.
close. And it's not until like she like fully leaves for a few minutes that it closes and continues on as normal. So it didn't seem like anything was like mechanically wrong
Yeah,
with the elevator that it wouldn't close.
Yeah.
So
Then again, the elevator sensors aren't really that well. You could find plenty of videos like of guys trying to like open the elevator door last second. And they just get their hand crushed or something. Don't look that up, by the way. But
Okay.
but yeah, and then they go to the ER after. I don't know if they ever get the hand out, but
so did you guys hear about the part where it was talking about her body floating?
no.
mhm.
What did you find on that?
So I was able to find that so when she was found, her phone was never found at all.
Right.
Um she last checked in with her parents, like they kept checking in with her, but she didn't answer like well after she went missing. But they didn't find her phone. Nowhere in the hotel. They couldn't find it in the water tank. But they were able to find her watch and her room key and her clothes floating beside her.
Yeah.
And that's all that they could find
What
with
type
her
of phone did
possessions.
she have?
Not sure.
Hmm.
In one of the stories I was reading about it, um, it really again just took me into the haunted mansion.
Hmm.
But there's a line here where it says nobody knows how Lamb's corpse, floating lifelessly next to the same clothes she wore in the surveillance video, ended up in the hotel's water tank, or who else might have been involved. Right. So that's what I was saying. I didn't actually see the video, but when I read that, I was just like, there was a lifeless body just floating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that was just something that I think in the movie that I'm talking about, there's a part where like there was because the main guy who's like doing all the terrorizing, he I think he's like missing his hat. or his head or his hat, or it could have been both, right? Was it the head and the hat, or just the
I
hat?
don't remember.
So there's a part where it's like they have this character like walking around and the body's there, but the head is missing, right? So I just started thinking about like a floating a floating body, right? Like just lifelessly just being carried throughout, right? And arms
Mhm.
just dangling, and then I don't know, maybe they took the elevator and maybe it took the whatever this paranormal uh creature, deity, being, whatever it is, whatever got her, I could just picture her floating up to the rooftop, right? And
Um,
then they putting her stuff in there, putting her in
yeah.
there, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, just something that came to mind.
You know, like if I was a murderer, theoretically, then like why would I like have the body and like make sure to like take his clothes off, then throw it all in there, then put the body in there? It's like it doesn't really make sense why why the clothes are taken off. It's like unless it was some sort of like freaky assault or whatever, or like or or it was just like I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm at a loss for words right here. But if it was like a suicide, then like, again, it's like why do you take your clothes off just to like jump in and then like drown in there? Because there's no way. I don't think she like drowned in there. Like jumped in, closed the lid, drowned. Because like drowning is like one of the worst ways you can like end yourself. It's like so like I'd assume she'd find some other way to like you know end herself if it was like if she was like thinking clearly, and if it wasn't some type of like murder or like medical disorder where she wasn't thinking right.
Yeah. There's a documentary that they did on this topic. It is called "The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel."
What's that about?
So it's talking about Elisa, um, and like just everything. Well, it talks a lot more than just that. I haven't watched it, but that's what it's saying. Um, it's a crime scene. It's talking about the crime scene, and so yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to check out. I wish I would have seen that before, to where I would have went and been able to watch it before today. But um, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting. And actually, I think I'm gonna go home and watch that just to get a little bit more context on everything. So
So how's y'all days going?
any other points you want to bring out on this story here?
Not really. It's like there's so many questions but like I'm mainly just concerned about like why why was no clothes there, and then but that would make it be like that would make it seem like it's a murder, but like the thing is there was like no signs of trauma. It's like every time we're like we could get somewhere, there's like a thing that like prevents us from like thinking about it anymore, and
Hmm.
it really does make you think like maybe this was supernatural somehow. But then again, there's no scientific evidence of something being supernatural. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely mind-boggling. To be honest, I had never heard of this story before, and just the light scratching of the surface and looking into this that I did. It was like I said, it was just very like leaving you scratching your head, like how, what, huh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, especially for the family. It's like,
Right,
what now?
right. I couldn't, as a father, and a father of girls, right? Having two daughters myself, I couldn't imagine, one, if I knew that my daughter had mental problems like this.
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine not being concerned for her like every minute she was gone,
Yeah.
right? Which that's what I had read, that her parents were concerned because they were keeping regular contact with her, and on that day she wasn't picking up or anything. But just as a father to especially like that she was from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Said she was Canadian. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know if she was Canadian, but she was living in Canada, and when she came down to America. So again, I don't know if she was full on Canadian, but to be in a different country at that, you know what I mean, and be like, my daughter's over here, she has these issues, I don't know, it would be nerve wracking the whole entire time, right?
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's crazy.
So I think that's gonna do it for this episode of Mysteries of the Past. Thank y'all for watching. If y'all like this episode, then make sure to like or comment or whatever, share to your dog's toe or something. Anyways, anyways, I hope you all like watching this episode. If y'all want to see more, then y'all could go back to our previous episodes or wait for the next one. And yeah, so I hope y'all enjoy. Have a good day, a good week, whatever. Good century. Anyways, and see y'all.